Hi and welcome to the Resources Roadhouse. I'm Wally Graham, and today I'm joined by Patrick Walta, who's Managing Director of New Century Resources. Now, Patrick, there's a couple of things. There's a lot of stuff going on the ground and also corporately for New Century. But let's get into the project, because I find this quite interesting what you guys are doing there. The Century Mine up in North Queensland. It's an old mine. You're not exactly mining. You're going through the tailings. Can you explain to us what it is that you're doing there?
Yeah, thanks, Wally. Yeah, thanks for having us on Resource Roadhouse as well. So, as you said, yeah, we're not really a mining company, so to speak. We're principally focused on economic rehabilitation of mine sites. At the Century Mine, we acquired that in 2017, and it was for 16 years, from 2000 to 2016. It was the third largest zinc mine in the world, mining the big zinc ore body. It's a massive ore body, 120 million tonnes at 12% zinc and lead. And it ran for that 16-year period, a fantastic zinc operation by global standards. What's been left behind is an environmental cleanup job, but also a significant mineral endowment as well, which creates a lot of opportunity, obviously, to reinvigorate operations and generate economic return, but also facilitate that rehabilitation process. So New Century, as I said, we acquired the asset in 2017. We very quickly turned it back on and ramped it up, and we're just via the process of tailings reclamation and reprocessing back through the existing plant. And we've actually ramped up. We're the 13th largest zinc producer in the world now, out of 270 odd operating zinc mines, so significant operation. But all of our company ethos and all of our operations seek to provide a net environmental benefit. So while we are reprocessing the tailings, we're actually also putting them back into the original open pit. So facilitating that best-in-class environmental and rehabilitation solution, while also processing the tailings themselves.
Well, and as you're saying, like there's enough there to make you the 13th zinc producer in the world at the moment. So it's a well worth exercise.
Absolutely, and really a lot of this is about a new way of thinking about mining. Obviously, a circular economy thinking. In reality, the social license to operate for miners is diminishing by the day. We're gone to the days where you can put down large open pits and very large tailings dams and expansive processing facilities. We as an industry, we have to do things smarter and more environmentally consciously. So that's we believe we're at the forefront of that, and we want to become, or we're developing a brand as the global leader in tailings asset management.
All right. So, and that's what sort of happened with your recent raising. You did a recent raising over $32 million, which was very, very handy. But it's also sort of opened up another front for you.
You're right. Yeah. So we're actually raising a minimum of 105 million. We're partway through that at the moment. So a conditional placement was completed to major shareholders and a new strategic investor in Tasmania. And we have a rights issue underway at the moment as well. So that'll be completed over the course of November. And as you said, part of that funding is really to unlock cash flows at Century. So we're getting rid of our senior secured debt. We'll become debt free there as well. We've also been able to undertake some hedging and replace our existing environmental bond there. All of those transactions have really seek to unlock the strong cash flows we have from the Century Mine. So in the September quarter, we generated nearly $32 million in EBITDA. The zinc price is up again in the December quarter, so that's expected to grow. And as you alluded to, we've now actually acquired, or we have an option to acquire a next project and the next opportunity, which is the Mount Lyell copper mine down in Tasmania, which is an exciting project that we should talk about as well.
Oh, okay. Well, let's talk about it then. So what's going to happen there? Moving away, well, you've still got the zinc, not moving away from it, but down to copper, two very important commodities at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we see down at Mount Lyell is kind of more than just copper. It's actually green copper. So a lot of opportunities for 100% renewable energy operations via hydroelectric power down there. Mount Lyell is analogous to the Century Mine in that it's an old mine with a lot of history, still has a fantastic mineral endowment. There's over 1.1 million tonnes of copper, contained copper, and nearly 1 million ounces of gold or defined in there. But it also has an historical environmental legacy. Now, that legacy is owned by the Tasmanian government, but New Century, as part of its plans to reinvigorate the operations there, can provide that net environmental benefit to the site. So reprocessing tailings, metal recovery from water as well, from water treatment, and also rehabilitation of the surrounds as well. So we see huge potential for ultimately for a multi-decade life operation down there, and that obviously provides that facilitation of the historical mining legacies that have occurred over 130 years of operations down there.
It's quite an interesting model that you've got. Is just you don't have to provide you don't have to build the infrastructure. You don't have to build the mine. All you've got to do is go through the tailings, use the infrastructure that's already there, and basically make a profit.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we think about this as a function of risk. As a traditional exploration company and prospective mining company, you've got to find that ore body. Then you have to get that ore body permitted. You have to raise funds to develop it, and you have to time it so that the price of the commodity is right. Then get it up and running, and then be successful. With New Century, we take a different perspective. We're not greenfield explorers or anything like that. Our skill set is around acquiring sunk capital assets and providing this environmental benefit. So, case in point, down in Tassie, at the end of the day, that is 1.1 million tonnes of copper, fully permitted with a tailings dam, existing infrastructure, ready to be restarted. Now, we're going to spend a couple of years doing a study and planning that restart. But if you think about that compared to actually trying to find 1 million tonnes of copper in Australia, in a tier 1 location,
anywhere,
with green credentials, we think it's a massive opportunity for our business and the strategy going forward. Because really, the strategy also requires you to have a track record. You're managing other companies' liabilities. And so it's not about, who has the biggest checkbook to acquire these assets. It's actually about saying, well, New Century at the Century Zinc Mine runs Australia's largest ever hydraulic mining operation and one of Australia's largest ever rehabilitation operations. So we have a track record and a demonstrated capability in being able to clean up mine sites and manage other companies' liabilities. So that's what we can leverage to grow our business for in the future, in addition to working with, for example, Savannah-Stillwater on growing a tailings asset management business. So not necessarily acquiring assets, but actually providing a client-focused solution to existing operators and rehabilitating their existing tailings operations.
Well, Patrick, it sounds like New Century Resources are cleaning up all over the place, if you'll pardon the pun. Thank you very much. So a lot of news obviously to come through from New Century Resources, and we can't wait for that to come across the desk here at the Roadhouse to bring it to our readers and viewers. Please join us again. Please update us on what's going on. It sounds like a very interesting story and one that we'd really like to have an eye on.
Absolutely, Wally. I look forward to chatting again soon.